Midway through January, where is the cold weather? We haven't had much cold. Granted, we've had freezing weather. We've had snow into the northern plains, the upper Midwest. We just haven't had that first round of really, truly frigid weather. We have not smelled the Arctic this entire winter season. There are some signs we'll see some of that. To what extent? Well, we'll talk about that in just a minute. And the other thing is that it looks like this cold weather will be coming in on a series of a couple of little clippers, one at the end of this week and one sometime next week. And each one of those will bring a chance of snow to the region. But Alberta clippers, you may recall, their snow tends to come in narrow swaths, and they often produce more wind than snow. So we're not talking very much precipitation for the northern plains or upper Midwest region over the next couple of weeks. Let's go through the pattern right now. Since also about the Christmas time, it's been a lot of fog, a lot of clouds, and on into the first few days of the new year, not much cold weather. It's been fairly cool down south with some occasional spurts of warmer weather. But because of the split flow pattern, we're keeping the really cold stuff locked up in the Arctic and not getting it to come very far south. Certainly the blue, the freezing weather, we've been seeing some of that into the northern plains and upper Midwest and Great Lakes region. We've even had at times some fairly cold weather all the way down to the deep south. We just haven't seen that frigid weather come around. Well, watch what happens to the jet stream toward about the end of this week, the start of next week. These two jets are going to start to combine, it looks like, and as they do so, watch the frigid air come southward. Now, how cold this air will end up being is a tough call. When cold weather first arrives, it's really hard to get a sense of how strong or how cold that air is going to be, simply because we don't have anything to gauge it with, right? We don't know how it's going to interact. As it comes from the high Arctic, its character is changed, and it's really difficult to know in advance the first round how cold it's going to be. My suspicion is in at least the next couple of weeks, we're not going to experience any unusually cold weather anywhere, but we may in fact get some weather down with highs to near zero into some parts of the region before January is out. Precipitation-wise, watch for the clipper. They'll come out of this region, move through fairly quickly. They'll probably produce some areas of lake effect snow on the downstream sides of the Great Lakes. There's not going to be very likely a lot of heavy snow outside of that, but I do expect a whitening sometime late this coming week into the northern plains. The west pretty dry, except for the Pacific Northwest, which will have more than its share of rain and snow. And as we move on into the second week, colder weather beginning to be more consequential into the northern plains anyway. I don't see this really sweeping through the country, but there will be some cold weather and probably at least one more clipper system, some lake effect snows, some rain in the southeast, southern plains mostly dry, northern Rockies, Pacific Northwest. You'll get your share of Pacific moisture next 2 weeks.